So, here we are on Friday, August 25th. Trey Lance was just traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a 4th round pick, and if you've been watching me ever, you'll know that I am a big Trey Lance guy and always have been. I loved him coming out of North Dakota State, have a whole video on that, linked here, and I had a video on him going into last season, also linked here. Now, here's what my initial reaction and thoughts are. I love the trade for Lance. Let's start with San Francisco. They never should have drafted Trey Lance in the first place. Look, it's smart if you're a team like the 49ers and you have a mid-tier quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo to try and take a project quarterback like a Trey Lance and develop him over time. However, you didn't really allow him to develop there. One, he was injured, which is not the team's fault, nor is it Trey Lance's fault, but he was injured twice, sometime in his rookie season and then basically his whole second season, after only playing one real game, because the first game was in a monsoon. I don't think that they should have drafted him, because Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones. John Lynch wanted Trey Lance. That's why Lynch traded up to number 3 and gave up 3 first-round picks for him. By the way, those 3 first-round picks returned into Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Bradley Chubb. Great. Isn't that just awesome? They could have stayed at 12 if they wanted Mac Jones, or they could have taken somebody else like Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase at 3. And also, the reason why I think it was bad for the 49ers to take him is because Kyle Shanahan, historically, isn't that good with mobile quarterbacks. Yes, he had RG3, and he was decent in his rookie season, but he also got injured a lot. And when Trey Lance started in those 2 games in his second season, the second game, which caused him to get injured, he was ran like a fullback, just doing QB powers and all that, but that is not his strength. I uploaded a couple TikToks last night and today about the situation. Lance is more of a scrambler. I wouldn't call him a designed run play quarterback, so don't have him running those designed run plays. It's not smart, especially when it's the power. Sure, maybe do a quarterback sweep to the outside where he's not running into people every 2 seconds. 5 seconds actually kind of a long time in that scenario. But I don't know. He was never going to be used right in San Francisco because that's just not what they are. They're good with those pocket quarterbacks that, maybe can step up in the pocket and all that, like a Brock Purdy, like a Jimmy Garoppolo, like an Alex Smith back in the day, even though that's not a Kyle Shanahan quarterback. I can't believe what happened in San Francisco with Trey Lance. That's just how I'm just still in awe of how poorly the situation was treated. You never should have taken the kid in the first place, in my opinion. You should have went to a different team. I couldn't tell you what team right now because I can't remember the state of the league right then and there. Maybe the Jets would have been a bad spot too or something like that. But just get him somewhere else. For his sake, I would have liked to see him in Atlanta behind Matt Ryan. Then he would start this year. Just because, I feel like with how their offense is now, that would be pretty good for him. With all those weapons and all that, and decent running coaching as well. He'd be in a good situation to be set up for play-action passes down the field because that's one of his key strengths, is his arm strength and ability to create plays outside the pocket, which is very common in play-action passes. Now, I wouldn't have wanted him to get drafted there because then Kyle Pitts would be there. I'm saying in a trade scenario like this. However, I also love Dallas as a trade spot. Look, we all know Dallas could be done with Dak Prescott within the next coming years, 1 or 2 years. We don't know. Dak has been very inconsistent as of late with all of his turnovers and things of that nature. He can't win in the playoffs, and he's been injured recently as well, as we saw that huge injury just a couple years ago. I love Dallas. I think that behind Dak Prescott, he can develop as a quarterback, as a player, and honestly as a person, just so he can have some sort of future in this league. I think he'd turn his career around there. I think he could become a future starter in Dallas. They have a lot of great things going on there with Tony Pollard, Lamb, Cooks. Mike McCarthy isn't the worst coach in the league, I guess. New offensive system as well, which I think will incorporate more running after Kellen Moore leaves. And the reason why I think he can still be a starter and turn his career around in Dallas is because the arm talent's there. Any outside the numbers throw he can make. He has great arm strength, and honestly, he can just make plays with his running ability as well. Running and throwing ability just down the field. You can get him on some designed runs, like read options, like the Lamar Jackson types, not the Cam Newton types where it's just up the middle. He also was very poised in the pocket. Now, there was one play in the preseason which the receiver ended up dropping, where he felt the edge defender coming off the edge. It'll be on the screen right now. Coming off the edge, he steps up in the pocket, then evades the pressure and gets out of the pocket, throws it right on the numbers to whoever number 86 is on the 49ers in the preseason, and he just straight up drops it. We've seen great throws from him in this preseason, but also some bad decisions as well. He has accuracy issues at times, and his decision making also at times can be very poor, where he's just throwing the ball and it hits the linebacker in the hands, or it's just a bad interception. That touchdown in the first week of the preseason was awful decision making from Trey Lance. Threw right into the defender. It's just, I don't know how. I think it was Ross Dwelley ended up catching it. How Dwelley, or the tight end who caught it, ended up catching that for a touchdown. So for my final initial reactions, Trey Lance could turn his career around in Dallas based off potential decent coaching and a new system there, weapons, and he still has all the tools that he's had this whole time. It might just be a mental thing that he needs to overcome right now. 2, Kyle Shanahan was never built to coach a quarterback like Trey Lance. Is that me saying Kyle Shanahan is a bad coach? No. Does he have his limitations as well? Yes, every coach does. His limitations is mobile quarterbacks. His running scheme is amazing, but for running backs, and Deebo Samuel as well. But he's not really great at scheming up runs for quarterbacks, and I just don't think he should try again with a running quarterback. They should have just taken Mac Jones. I think that in San Francisco, he could have been the guy if he was given the opportunity. They basically did this to Trey Lance because they knew that he might not be the best guy for their team, like benching him and then trading him. They signed Sam Darnold, 1 for competition, 2 because they didn't have the faith in him. Thank God they sent him to another franchise for him to figure out what is best for him and how he can succeed in this league further through new coaching and just a new environment in general that might not be as, I don't want to call the 49ers a toxic environment, but I'm saying for Lance specifically, get him out of that toxic environment, just for him, to go somewhere else where you can potentially be the guy in the future and the team sees you as their next franchise quarterback. And with all that being said, that is for me, guys. This is Joe of Fanatic Sports, signing off, but I did forget my football. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.